Hey guys, Megan here. So if you watch me at all, you know that I do hair for my job, and I just put that on YouTube because I enjoy it so much. So today is December the 1st / my birthday, and last year I actually on purpose uploaded a video talking about why I love my job on December 1st. And I guess to me it kind of corresponds because it's marking a new year in my life. And that video, if you want to see it, I'll link it right here. I was pretty much just telling some stories about people and how I had done their hair and how they responded and how inspiring it was and everything. So, I'm going to talk again this year, only it's probably going to be a lot longer. So, strap down and get prepared. Basically, I make these videos for two groups. Those that are in cosmetology school or those thinking about wanting to go to cosmetology school. It really got a lot of feedback from people in that world just because it kind of helped them get an idea of what goes on in the cosmetology world. And I did it specifically to inspire people that are interested, because a lot of people, when I was in high school and stuff, they'd put you down if you wanted to go to cosmetology school because it's not a 4-year school. And I don't think anything's wrong with that whatsoever. And that's the purpose of me making these videos, is to inspire you to do what you want, not allow other people to tell you what to do. That's what that whole video was about. This year I'm going to kind of tell you about my whole year so you know what happens in the life. And the other group would be my subscribers, those of you that are interested in what I do outside of YouTube, because you guys know that I do hair and I don't really share with you a lot of what's going on in the salon. But I think it's time, because you guys know I had a huge change this year, so I'd like to actually share that change with you. So pretty much I left the last video last year saying do what you want to do, be as creative as you want to be, and just be you. And if you're enjoying doing hair, it doesn't matter if you are a guy or a girl, black, white, purple, yellow, orange, red, do it. And it doesn't matter who tells you that you can't, because I know that I have definitely jumped some hurdles, but it's worth it. And this year is the biggest one that I got to, because, and I am not going to name any names, if you know me in real life, you know where I worked. I do not wish to slam where I worked at all, so I'm not going to give their names. But I'm going to tell the truth. So here it is. So last December, I was in the salon still. I actually left the salon that I was at from the time I got out of college, cosmetology school. I left this past September, and I'd been there for about 3 years and 7 months. I would probably say around a year ago this past August, the salon itself joined a company that pretty much was all big business. Now, if you know me at all, you know that I am all about creativity, and that's why I try to inspire others if they like hair to get into it, because there's so many creative things you can do with it. And as a creative soul, that's what you aspire for. You're not sitting here thinking, oh, well, if I do this updo on this person, I can easily squeeze $250 out of them. That, in my mind, is outrageous. So, this company that the salon joined, they are more thought processed to that let's get more and more money out of these people. And to me, that honestly just made me more and more miserable. From the time that we joined the company, I thought it was weird, but then back in January, I had a meeting. We had meetings all the time about making money, but I had a meeting about that, all these goals that I needed to set and everything. But the thing that killed me was the end of the meeting, this lady that came in from the company, she shook my hand and smiled and everything. She thought it was great that I was doing YouTube and stuff, but she said something to the effect of that, remember, Megan, money makes us all happy, so go out there and make a lot of money. And I just grunted when she said that, because I was so flabbergasted at the fact that she thought that money is what makes everybody happy, because it does not. I have seen plenty of people with plenty of money and they are miserable. The year progresses, and I would say probably the miserable feeling started in March, just because it had turned into a job for me. I got into the hair industry because I wanted to get up in the morning and be happy to go to work, because I was going to work with clients that enjoyed what I did to their hair and connect with them and stuff like that, and be able to just do whatever and be creative, because a lot of times, you guys know I love doing updos, so on a lot of my clients I'll do like a braid or something on them rather than a blowout, and it's always so much fun. So I like to do different things, but around March was when I started really feeling like there was no purpose to be there anymore. And then in April I went to a Paul Mitchell hair camp, and I am voicing Paul Mitchell because I have a lot of positive feelings about them. It was divided up into several different types of classes. The first was business, the second updos, and then the next day was haircuts and colors. But the business class, I found this woman on Facebook afterwards, and I just sent her a message and I was like, you inspired me so much, because the salon I'm at right now is the complete opposite of how you taught. But her business class was about the person. It's not about making them a dollar sign. Our jobs are important and we need to make money because that's what society tells us and all that stuff. But I would go do a fashion show for totally free just because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So after that, and after realizing that nobody really cared about the Paul Mitchell side, I started looking around at new salons. In midsummer, I met with a guy that owns a salon and he does booth rental. And it was just amazing to me because I had never ever connected with other salon owners or stylists or anybody outside my own salon. And I had this image in my mind that hairdressers of other salons aren't supposed to be friends. But once I actually talked to this guy about his booth rental, which I decided in the first 5 minutes wasn't really for me, he still took about an hour to talk to me about getting out there, how to get out there, how to pursue my dreams, how to make people happy, how money is just the compensation for your art. It's not what is going to drive you home happy. And it was just so refreshing because I was like, hairstyling is a team. We shouldn't be pinned up against each other and made to think that we can't all be friends, because that's loopy, and thinking that one salon is better than the other is also loopy, but that's how my mind was trained. And so once I went and talked with him, I started honestly, I started praying, because I was like, I cannot stay here anymore. Something has got to change. So amazingly, in late August, I was at the salon, and another stylist who also was ready to leave because she felt the same way I did was on her phone looking at places, and she's like, Megan, come here, this looks amazing. And she had found a job posting for the company that I am now with, who travels around doing wedding hair on location. And ironically, I had been following these people on Facebook for ages because I admired their work. I thought it was awesome that they went on location. And, you know, they had started at the salon that I was at slowly backing off of weddings, even though they knew I loved weddings. So at that point, realizing how miserable I was there and realizing that I was being put completely in a box and also judged for other reasons, I was like, alright, I'm going for this. So that very night I sent them an email about that I was interested, and I rushed and put a resume together because I hadn't done a resume. I hadn't updated my resume since cosmetology school, so it was not very accurate. And then they wanted to see a portfolio, which I didn't have an actual portfolio other than Facebook. So I spent 4.5 hours one night with one of my friends helping me put it together. And I sent that to them, and then they wanted an interview, and I went into the interview so nervous that I was shaking as I was doing it. But they got back to me later and they said, oh, we want to hire you. Now, I squealed when I read that email, and this job is freelance, so you can stay very, very busy. So without even thinking twice, I literally went in the next day after I got that email and I quit the salon that I was at. And it is amazing the amount of stress and burdens that were released off of me when I did that. Because it was like suddenly I was free to be myself. And it's just amazing to think back on, especially this whole past year. I had turned into someone else because I was so incredibly miserable where I was. And that's not a good thing. It honestly, everything came together so perfectly. I know that this was written for my life, because just as I got this job, right as I quit, my aunt actually had found that there was a booth for rent just about 15 minutes away from my house, next town over, and it was a lot cheaper than the ones in downtown where I'm at. And so I talked to the girl, and ironically she did my prom hair, and she was so sweet. And me and that other stylist that found the freelance job for me, we actually went in together to interview, and we decided to share the booth. So I'm now booth rental, which that's a whole nother video in itself, but it's amazing. But it's just interesting how much I've changed just in that little amount of time, and getting away from something that was smothering me so much. We don't have to stay attached to anything. They don't own us. And if somebody is doing something that you don't really feel like is appropriate, or you're feeling miserable in what you're doing, you don't have to stay. There are other things out there. You just got to take that leap of faith. So that helped me a lot. Being a Christian in an environment that isn't, it's interesting that so many people say treat others the way you want to be treated, because that was never ever treated that way. And because myself and a couple others were Christians, we were put in a corner because they didn't like that. And that's not how you run a business at all. You treat all of your employees equally, whether they think the same exact things of you as you do, or they think the total opposite, because you're not friends when you are the owner and the employee. You're not buddy-buddy, so you cannot sit here and judge people based on how they are in their personal life. And that had happened as well. So between that and being told that money was my everything, I was so miserable that I wasn't Megan. And it's so interesting because since I have changed my jobs now, so many of my clients, and I've noticed a lot of you have commented on how happy I seem right now, and it's just because I'm finally feeling like me again. I adore doing weddings, and now I can go on location and do them with this company. And the amazing thing is, this new company that I'm with for the weddings, they treat you so well, and they're so nice to you, and they take the time to actually sit down and talk to you about your strengths and weaknesses and work on your weaknesses to build them up. It's just amazing. Like, I don't even understand. It's amazing that all this just came in my lap all at the same time. Anybody that is still watching this, first of all, you're awesome. But if you're still watching this and you have a passion for hair and you haven't sought out cosmetology school, or if you're in cosmetology school, then don't give up, because those first years are so incredibly hard, but once you get through them, it's amazing where you can go. And you gotta walk through mud to get to the other side, but once you get there, good things do happen. So, I know that there's a couple of you that I have talked to that are in cosmetology school right now, or in an apprenticeship in a salon, and I don't think I've heard from any of you recently. So, if you are still watching, let me know how cosmetology school is going, or the apprenticeship, or any of that stuff, or if you are thinking about going to cosmetology school, let me know, and I will offer any advice possible, because just follow your dreams. Don't think about what anybody else tells you. That's my why being a hairstylist is awesome for the year. I actually enjoy it again. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We will be having the 12 Days of Christmas come up really soon. And there will be giveaways in the 12 Days of Christmas. So keep your eyes open for all of that. And, as always, I hope you have a lovely week, guys. Bye!